welcome to This Old Pottery, episode 37.4.1.
Yeah, what Carl said. So this is about making a serving tray or a simple slab tray that you could have around the kitchen, put hors d'oeuvres in or whatever. Okay, so I have two ideas. One is that I'm going to make a slab base and I'm going to put a slab siding on it, and you got something like this, which is really simple, right? You got your lugs here. I'll show you how to make those in a minute. And roll out a slab there, roll out a slab here, put your lugs on, and you're done. Pretty simple, straight walls, easy peasy. All right, another one said, you don't have to do this, but I'm gonna make this one a little abbreviated. It's not gonna be this big, it's a little bit smaller. So I'm gonna start small, because let's pretend this is my first one, and I said, well, I'm gonna start out small so I can play around with the idea. So here's this, and there's that.
So you made a little template of the base.
I made a template, and if you notice that the template is a little bit bigger here than here, that's because I'm gonna leave it so I got a little something for a base, like that you see there, right? All right.
Okay.
Okay, so now we took the template and I put it on here. I rolled out the slab, right, as you know how to do. And here's this. Bada bing, there's the base. Here's this. Bada boom, there are the sides. Now, I'm gonna go like this. And I'm gonna save this clay because I'm gonna use it to make handles and do other things. And you might look over here and you go, okay, well, I'm gonna save that because I might be able to use that for something else too. You think, okay, I get it, Mark. You got this thing going on here, is the sides, and you got this thing. What is that? It's a mystery. Seriously, it's a mystery, but this is going to have a good function. Just wait for it. All right, so I'm gonna leave it over here so it gets a little bit firm, and
Is this the part where we get to watch you score? For a long time.
For a long time? We can speed it up, Carl.
Okay, Mark. Now what are you doing?
We're back with Mark, and Mark's gonna make sure the inside of this is absolutely
And he's going to talk like a
bulletproof.
goofball.
I'm talking like a mechanic. We're gonna put a 347 with superchargers in this thing, and we're just gonna make it go. All right, so I'm going on the corners there. See that? Can you see this, Carl? You cannot see inside. All right, so see I'm putting that inside, and I scored this coil, and the coil's going in there. Anytime you have a real obvious seam like this, not a bad idea. Serrated rib, and I'm going to use the serrated rib, and I'm going to push that in there. Make sure that that really gets pushed into the corner, and then I can kind of sculpt what the bottom looks like once I'm happy with it. And as you see, just want to reiterate that this is kind of loose.
That's better. We can see that way better.
It's loose and
Loose meaning the clay is kind of soft.
yeah, the clay's soft and it's wobbly and all that stuff. And for now, you just do the best you can. Make sure everything's fastened together.
Just block it out.
Block it out. That's a good way to put it. You're just making sure your basic form's there, knowing that you're going to come back and chisel it later and make it even more interesting. Do all your details, just like, you know, any kind of work. You start out with rough drafts and you work from there. So, okay. I'm going to create a little ridge. See that ridge down there? I think it looks pretty cool, and that's part of my design. So I'm going to simply start out by trying to lift that up a little bit. So I'm going to go around here and just lift it using a pencil. See how you see that darker line? That means the pencil is just pushing in and pushing the clay up. So I'm going around and doing that, making it happen.
Oh, that's pretty clever.
Oh, I'm so clever, Carl. You have no idea.
I do.
Right. Yeah.
I do.
All right. Yeah. Yes. It's an ongoing process. All right. So now I'm going to switch my tool to this. Right. See, it's a bigger piece of wood, and I'm going to turn that sideways and do this. So I'm lifting the whole thing up, just going around slowly, sequentially, and doing it. Anyways, you'll see it as it gets farther along, but you see what I'm
So making that nice little edge there that has an undercut underneath it, actually, kind of gives the pot a little bit of a visual lift. It makes it seem a little bit lighter, right? It's not just attached to the table. It's got a little float to it.
Very good, Carl.
Right.
Way to talk about aesthetics.
And now you are using the right angle on your wooden rib to kind of shape the top of that lip.
I am.
And the nice thing about having a finished edge on, say, the top and the bottom of a pot is that it kind of frames in the pot, right? It's kind of like you put a frame around it. So you put this clean, crisp, kind of heavier line on the top and on the bottom.
Well, you notice also, like this is going to be more refined, and there's not really a lip on the top. It doesn't necessarily have to be, but remember when I said stay tuned? What if we use this?
Can you do that again? There we go, good.
There we go.
We'll replay that multiple times.
Okay, and then what if we do this? Okay. All right, so can you kind of see what I got going there?
Okay.
Except for, I'm looking at it,
It looks huge.
it looks way too big.
Yeah.
So I might cut this down. So that's the whole thing making anything, is you go along and you kind of like, that was a good idea, but maybe it's too big, it's too thick, too wide, too whatever.
Right.
So you're always adapting and changing as you go along. So that's too thick for me, so stay tuned. I'm gonna make it work. Goodbye. Okay, folks, we're at another decision point. Okay, so imagine it looking like that. That's not the end of the world. It could be a nice little container, but that's a little bit more in proportion. The one I had before is a little thick, right? Okay, and then I'm thinking, well, I like that. That looks pretty good, but let's play around. Why not just play and see what would happen if we did something like this? What if we had this thing looking a little more architectural in some way? I just make these little cubey cubes for fun. I'm using them now just to kind of set them in place, but I would have to then score them later if I decided that this was something I wanted to do. So I'm just going to shift this around and see what it would look like if I did something like that. Okay.
Clever.
See how that's, I mean, it's just like an architectural element. It's just a little detail, little bent holes here. But you can decide, maybe I do something like that on the bottom too. But you can kind of keep going and adapting and changing. All right, I'm gonna think about it and I'll get back to you. But for now, I think it's time for me to let this thing get leather hard so I can go on. So I'm gonna wrap the rim. I'm not gonna attach this now. I'm gonna let this rest of it let the rest of this get leather hard so I can finish with my piece here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of plastic. I'm going to just put it around the rim.
Le plastique.
El plastique. I'm going to put this here because it's a little too flimsy to do some of the other things I want. For example, I want to put some feet on it and lift it up. So it's got to get firmer before I do that. So I'm going to let it get firmer this way, then I'm going to flip it over and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But for now, it's going outside for about 15 minutes to get leather hard. Goodbye.
Hey, Mark, are you still working on that pot?
I am Carl, and I wanted to show you how I might want to finish it. So here it is, and look at it. It is now leather hard. Look, it's bendable.
It's leather soft.
Yeah.
Okay, it's leather hard.
Whatever, Carl. All right, so here we go.
Yeah, it's on the soft side of leather
I want
hard.
to turn it over, but I'm a little worried. I don't want to just grab it. So what you can do is take something else and just do that and do this. Woo! Look at that. All right. All right, so I want to just play around with this thing. So I'm going to just stick some of these on. Now, right now, I'm sticking these things on with just a little bit of water because that'll come off. So all I'm doing is putting things on now so I can see them and see if it's something I like. Now, I'm putting these things on here, but you might want to do totally different shapes. I mean, there's little squares or, there could be a zillion different things.
How about turtles?
Turtles would work. Not sure whatever happened to this one, but hey, we'll call it good. Anyways, so you're kind of getting it, right? And let's try this again. So let's just see what it might look like if, can you see it, Carl? Is it looking good?
Yeah.
Okay, did it fall out? Nope. All right, so that's looking pretty good. extreme close-up, Carl, extreme close-up. All right. So that, you know, it looks kind of funny and funky, but it's all right. So there's 3, and then you try it over here and go, oh, it looks a little different that way. Maybe not so stable with just 2 feet. And we can play around with putting some stuff on here, right? Again, I'm kind of like try these so we can see how things look. And again, these could be a lot of different things on here besides just these. If I'm going to do this, I got to do it pretty soon because this is getting to be right on the edge. See, you can still bend this piece, but it's getting right down to the wire. Okay. Okay, you see that, right? So there's a little variety. Maybe I'll do that, maybe not. I don't know. But anyways, it is lifted up, right? And the whole thing looks lighter, lifted up. All right, so let's play around with maybe some other.
There's a lot going on there.
There's a lot going on. Maybe too much. Is that code for the maybe too much? Well, here's my.
You know, what's the definition of wabi, Mark?
What? This is just enough.
Let's talk about wabi.
Wabi?
Simple, serene, peaceful.
Well, maybe. You said we're doing these things as generic demos, not necessarily
right.
one thing.
Yeah.
Oh, right,
Okay.
right.
Okay.
It's just doing a slab container. All right. So. All right. So, anyways, there's that. So, and if I decided that's too much and I want to be more serene, so I'll go more serene here. And maybe I just stop. Maybe I don't even put feet on it. My philosophy about that is this, is that you never really know
Until you try.
until you try. And if you don't like try to go a little too far, then you're not going to know. So if you go a little too far, you can always back off, right? So there's that. That's cool. Or there's that. Well, that I actually kind of like that. It looks like it's freaking out, right? Okay. And there's all the different kinds of things you can do with it. So your job is to make a slab tray, like a slab serving tray. Ooh, maybe really low. Just put them real low. And we'll take it from there.
All right.
All right.
Rogers.
Or it could be really simple like that. Or even more simple like that. Simple serving tray. But maybe you got a little something on there. Just a little something? Just a little?